What is good, everybody? It's your boy Gini-MOB over here with another reaction video. I'm trying to do chapters 1, and I'm trying to do it on a live. So we're gonna restart the whole thing. I saw there was 20 of you guys watching me, and my wife had let me know, hey, nobody can hear you, or nobody can hear the video. So I'm gonna try to do this again, and I'm gonna see if this works. So let me know if you guys can hear it.
Hello everyone, this is the first time I've done something like this before. I wanted to write it down because there's a lot and I didn't want to miss anything, and some parts of this might be a little bit uncomfortable to listen to, but I wanted to stay as true as possible to the story, not miss anything, for the sake of people who might be going through something similar, or for the sake of people who don't but want to help understand a little bit more. Yeah. I promise that everything in this story is 100% true. Nothing is exaggerated for dramatic effect. Some names I don't mention and some details I don't go too far into or downplay them for the sake of the people around me. Timelines might occasionally be a little bit off, but that's just because I've had to write everything from memory.
You guys can finally hear me.
Quite hazy.
So
I asked before embarking on this journey with me.
Let me pause it. So I just want to know. So we're probably going to go through a lot of this right now. So he was talking about. You guys will watch on the other video that I totally messed up. I have to put this. I don't even know. I'm probably going to delete that one. But we're going to go into this. But anyway, so he's talking about how his life and everything started to change once he was 17, going into 19. And what I said in my first video was I really like so far how honest this guy is. Like, this guy is mad honest with who he is. He's like, yeah, I did drugs. I did this and that. And what I also like is he almost feels like doing this music is a sacrifice. Like, music meant so much to him, but he also is saying I'm giving a lot of my personal parts of my life out, and there's nothing I get to keep to myself. But he's sacrificing it and his demons, which we all have, and he's sacrificing this because he feels like it can speak to people and it can help people in whatever they're going through, which is why he chooses to do this on a daily basis. So let's keep going now.
This is the first time my story is on the public record in a concise way. Being in the public eye is strange. The more that I give to you, the less that I get to keep for myself. I don't find one basis, I was surrounded by a lot of death, and there simply weren't enough hours in the day. So I ask you, if you need support, please reach out to a professional or use my music as your companion. I share my story in hopes that somebody who needs it finds it, that it provides hope, that it might ease the suffering for the people like me. I like my solitude, so I ask that anyone who respects the work I make and respects my contribution to the world to respect my solitude. A lot happened in my teenage years, and I didn't live the most normal of lives, but I'll save that story for another time. The important thing to contextualize this story is that I was full of life. I was full of a burning desire to change the world. The flaws in how we interact seemed obvious to me. I believed in people's power to change the unnecessary suffering we inflict upon ourselves. I was also enamored with music. Music is the closest thing to God that I have. It's a gateway to the unexplainable, and it's a way of communicating the inexpressible.
Yeah.
There's just one moment that I want to share with you from the years before I got sick. I was 17 and I felt indestructible. I'm not sure why, but my whole life I had this feeling inside myself that I was meant to do something important, not for myself, not for praise, not for personal gain, but something that would change the world for the better. It's hard to describe it without coming across like an egomaniac or having some sort of God complex, but I felt like I had some sort of divine purpose. And I remember feeling this so strongly that one afternoon after school, I stood in the center of my bedroom and I spoke loud into an empty void. I said that I would single-handedly take on and defeat the forces of evil, and I welcomed them to try their best. Throughout the years, that memory stuck with me, taunting me sometimes. Flash forward to 2019. I remember the first day I knew something was wrong very well. I woke up in an unfamiliar room in Cardiff, feeling like a raven had perched itself upon my heart. Every time my heart beat, it's like some part of me was aware of the foreboding death sentence that was to come. Some sort of primal instinctive dread. Everything felt wrong, and I felt prosthetic, like I could tear my own skin off and observe, though I was watching passively from another room.
He's so articulate.
The night before, I'd been in Cardiff visiting friends in university. It was the end of summer. We'd gone out to a few bars. I wasn't really enjoying myself. That year, I'd been struggling with social anxiety, perhaps from years of abusing my brain with a whole pick and mix and selection of party drugs. Engaging with society felt like stepping into the ring with a heavyweight champion. Every single fucking question felt like an oncoming haymaker I had to socially navigate because of my very limited toolkit of charisma at the time. I don't know why I cared about being liked so much, but the more I cared, the less equipped I became to have a simple human conversation. I used to deal with this by getting fucking hammered. That night was no exception. I got smashed, lost my phone, and woke up in a strange apartment. In the bed opposite mine was a snoring rugby player and his girlfriend.
Wow.
Everything just seemed off, and it wasn't a hangover. My first thought was I'd been spiked. I quietly gathered all my belongings and left before anyone could wake up and punch me with a conversation. I wandered around the grey Cardiff in a haze, feeling like I've just been rigged up to an IV bag full of ketamine and cyanide, and the whole world just seemed off, like I was looking at it through a tunnel. A heavy feeling of fear clung around me like a straitjacket. The only comforting thought was that with enough time, rest and water,
I was
it
trying
would
to
pass.
make it bigger for you guys.
But it didn't. For 8 long years, it didn't. And this is my story of an 8-year-long nightmare.
Wow.
I returned back to my dad's home. He was living with his partner at the time. It wasn't my home, so I already felt uncomfortable and out of place. These unusual symptoms persisted. I figured I'd caught some sort of virus and I'd get better with time. But by the end of the week, things were a lot worse. I took myself to the doctor and he said he thought it sounded viral, that if I went home and got enough rest, it would eventually pass. And it didn't. For 8 years, it didn't. I returned for my second year of university. My brain was full of fog and my body felt poisoned. There were intermittent days where I felt like a hollow suit of skin. I'd sit in lectures unable to focus and was devoid of any sort of personality. I'd be able to have basic conversations, yeses and nos, but I was stripped of the ability to think spontaneously. It's like my body was taking up so much processing power being sick that I could not have original or spontaneous thought.
Wow.
The most peculiar thing about this was there was a me that was aware that this was all happening and was observing it from outside of myself, locked out, screaming silently, banging on the walls of my mind to be let in, and never successfully. And nonetheless, there I was, like a ghost haunting myself. My usual routine was getting home, running a shower and curling up into a ball to cry underneath the running water, not understanding what was going on. I brought myself to the doctors numerous times during this period, requesting every blood test they'd let me have, often being dismissed and told things like stress from university can cause strange symptoms. But how come no one I knew in university could relate to this? Eventually I was put on a 6-month-long waiting list to see a mental health specialist who did a short 1-page questionnaire and wrongly diagnosed me as hypercycling bipolar and put me on a course of citalopram. After a few weeks it stole my ability to sleep. I was told to stick it out and it would level out and eventually I'd feel more like myself. I stuck it out and I got worse and I pulled myself off it after 2 weeks in a row of sleepless nights and insomnia.
Me being a soldier,
These damn
I
ads,
know my
man.
daughters look at to me as a hero, and what
We
I'm
all
trying to
watching
do is
this
provide
like
them the blueprint,
it's a
and I
freaking
wanna try to
movie,
put them-
but like these
There's
ads
something
is
pretty
crazy.
peculiar about being told you're in some sort of spectrum of madness, even if you suspect that you're mad. Your diagnosis finds a way to claw itself into your identity, even if it doesn't belong to you. Ever since I was a child, I'd always be asking what and why and how things worked. I couldn't really accept things as they were without knowing how. I carried into my adult years, and so as the bipolar hammer crashed and sentenced itself into my reality, I began
I have to. It's so weird
spent
how I
one
have
day
to
a
do
week with my
this.
therapist.
My video, for whatever reason, as you guys see, like it's just clipping in and out. I don't know why it's doing that. I got to figure that out. That's a new one for me. I've never had that issue before. Like when I record, if I'm just doing a regular record video, it doesn't do that. But for whatever reason, now that I'm doing live, it's getting rid of my Mac OS screen capture. I don't know why.
He was teaching me cognitive behavioral therapy. The issue was mentally reframing unexplainable symptoms caused a lot of cognitive dissonance for me. I was told my anxiety or depression was causing my symptoms, but in reality it was my symptoms which were making me anxious and depressed. So I was in some sort of inescapable bind. I'd devotedly work on my mental health, following every new tool for coping to the letter, only to have my symptoms get worse, which made me frustrated, raise the intensity of my treatment, only to get even more frustrated as my body seemed to deteriorate.
Yeah, because they're telling you you're
After
crazy.
6 months, I told my mum I'd happily saw off my own leg with a blunt knife if it meant my symptoms would vanish, and I meant it. I told her if I had to live with this strange feeling for 1 more year, I'd kill myself, and I meant that too. But something happened that winter which showed me firsthand the horrors and the fallout from suicide. I met Joe when I was 9 years old. I remember the first time clearly. I was standing in his living room and he turned to me and he was like, "Watch this." Then he proceeded to climb on top of his sofa and did a front flip onto a stone living room floor. He landed on his back and lay motionless for a few seconds before grinning, getting up, and then doing it all over again. We grew up terrorising the streets of the small village we grew up in, playing knock door run or breaking into people's gardens to play on their trampolines. We stayed friends throughout high school, going through various phases together. Joe was comedian of the group. I remember countless mornings after messy all-nighters, Joe would be cracking endless jokes like a professional stand-up routine, and we'd all be in tears laughing.
Oh, man.
When I started writing my first songs, Joe and Sega were the first people who always knew every word, and they would sing along at the top of their lungs. They gave me a lot of self-belief, and they helped me build the foundation of what I do today, and I owe them a lot for that. That Christmas, I came back home to Wales from university. On Christmas Eve, me and Joe were sat in a pub and he turned to me and he told me that he'd fantasized about walking into the sea until he was totally submerged. He had a pretty morbid sense of humor, so I didn't really take him as seriously as I should have.
Right.
2 days later, it's 3 a.m. and I get a phone call. It's my friend Ella. She tells me that Joe is on the bridge by my house. He was drunk, he'd called her up and he told her he was going to jump. I was still half asleep. I fumbled, pulling on whatever clothes I could that were near. And I walked out of the front door and the winter air stung my face and it woke me up. Adrenaline kicked in and I started sprinting towards the bridge. It was about a 5-minute walk, a 2.5-minute sprint. As I was running, I dialed Joe's number and I get a busy tone and I felt relief because it meant he was still alive. I kept hitting redial as I ran, and as I got about halfway to the bridge, the busy tone changes. I get an automated voice note saying the number's out of service and my heart sunk.
Oh, man.
I got to the suspension bridge that connects Anglesey to the mainland, and it usually looks very beautiful. I sprint up and down the bridge yelling Joe's name, and silence, and it's deafening. And I peer over the bridge into the blackness, and the bridge sits about 100 feet above the water. Hitting cold water at that height is like smashing into concrete. And the waters are notoriously dangerous because of the cross current. I hear nothing, no sounds, nothing. I run up and down the bridge about 2 times before I spot a figure at the end of it, and my heart jumps into my throat, and I run towards the figure, and it's my friend Ricky who's had the same call, and we both run around up and down the bridge and around the surrounding area looking for Joe. More of his friends eventually arrive, and there's nothing.
There we go.
I was about a minute too late. We spent the next week walking up and down beaches
So I
with
think
flashlights.
I solved the problem.
And when it's
I don't
that
mean
dark-
to pause him, but my battery was dying, so I think it was causing things to kind of tweak out.
Run towards the figure, and it's my friend Ricky who's had the same call, and we both run around up and down the bridge and around the surrounding area looking for Joe. More of his friends eventually arrive, and there's nothing. I was about a minute too late.
Oh.
We spent the next week walking up and down beaches with flashlights, and when it's that dark, every other large rock starts to look like a washed up body. We plastered all the neighbouring towns in missing posters, contacting whoever we could, someone who might know something. We checked bank records to see if any money had been withdrawn since he went missing. There was CCTV footage of him walking onto the bridge, but there wasn't any of him coming off. But there were dead zones in the footage, so there was still a small chance he could be alive. I was sleeping about 3 hours a night, pretty determined that we'd still find him. For about 10 days we had nothing, and then suddenly a call comes through while we're all at my friend Miles's house having food. It's the police. A body had been found in the water by the bridge. We piled into my friend's car. I remember being in the back seat in floods of tears, repetitively punching the back of the passenger seat as we drove to the scene. As we pull up, I saw a lifeless body being zipped up into a green bag near a parked ambulance. Its skin was bloated by the seawater, and it wasn't Joe. Someone else decided to jump that day. Joe was never found. It's difficult to truly let go when you can't say goodbye. For months following, I held on to this fantasy
because you don't know what the hell happened to him. You don't know if he died. You don't know. I would honestly just draw the conclusion that he moved to an island somewhere and had a good life. But obviously, that's not easy to sit there. Like, not everybody's me. But
by the seawater, and it wasn't Joe. Someone else decided to jump that day. Joe was never found. It's difficult to truly let go. I was struggling with the side effects of a new antidepressant. I remember sitting in the courtroom feeling like I was listening to the whole thing deep underwater. The judge felt the circumstances surrounding Joe's death didn't mean the judge felt that the circumstances surrounding Joe's death meant that the verdict was left open. It kind of stung even more to not have an official ruling of suicide. I remember going to visit his mum not long after and witnessing the aftermath of a mother grieving for her baby boy. The silence of his father, the tears of his mother. I decided that day that I'd have to wait until my illness killed me because I couldn't do it by choice. I couldn't put my family through that. Over the next 10 years, I returned to my hometown, only a handful of times following Joe's death. My last visit was in the summer of last year. I reconnected with Joe's parents and showed them a song that I'd written, simply entitled For Joe. We cried together, reminisced together, joked, and I'm proud to say that I gave Joe's mum enough money to afford a caravan she told me she'd been saving up for. That felt pretty good.
yeah.
We'd also do a fundraiser for the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, who were integral for searching for Joe during that time, and we raised a pretty good amount of money too. Being able to give back in whatever small way I could felt good, and it felt right for all the years Joe had made us all laugh till it hurt. He was a solid person, just a little lost, as we all are sometimes. And I miss him.
Oh my God.
Life was about to take an even more unusual turn, and I was about to meet the first angel of this story. So stay tuned for that.
God, you hear the pain in his voice?
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside the trunk, inside the pickup truck, then dumped that whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes, vividly. What it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility. Only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss myself. I miss thinking we were indestructible as hell. I miss chilling by the pier cave and kicking back with Callum, Hugo, Justin, Sega, Stevie and the fucking lads. I miss missing that. I numb myself to close the gap. I never even call them up. Distance is my plaster cast, to tell the truth. The day you jumped, my childhood jumped too. But I still can't find the angle. All I find is missing you, man, I miss you. With all my rhymes, I picture running 5 minutes quicker, I'm right on time. I picture pulling you back over the edge and then we're crying, and holding you, my brother, and telling you that it's fine, not the way that it worked. I was late like a jerk, there's not a day where I can find a way to break from the hurt. Your body missing, so we never got to wave to the hearse. I hope you're listening, I love you, man, I miss you, absurd, fuck. Another domino, it falls across the way another's born. How you're supposed to raise a child and give it courage from a storm. In a world that is confusing, contradictions pave our flaws. Some will say we're only human, others judge us for our flaws. Some get born in sheets of satin, some get by in tattered clothes. Some will die before they live, that's just how the story goes. But for those of us still with us, who reside inside our hearts, tell them proudly how you feel. And for those of us who aren't, freckled angels stand strong, freckled angels live on, freckled angels climb higher, freckled angels still inspire, freckled angels won't forget you, teach me to live my life better. 13 years and still I miss you, now my wings are missing feather, otherwise I'd come and join you. But for now I'm here on earth, stuck inside this mortal body, but for everything it's worth. Made me braver, made me wiser, made me stronger, made me true, made me face the world with courage, and that's all because of you. Freckled angels laugh the hardest, and their hearts, they are the largest. With their wings, they fly the farthest. So I know you're gonna be okay. Freckled angels live the longest, and their minds, they are the strongest.
Damn. Oh, what do I even say to that?
My husband used to ejaculate prematurely.
Shut up with the
until
ads.
this.
Oh my god. What the hell? These ads are getting crazier by the minute. Man. That made me sad. It reminded me of a song I made when one of my really good friends died. His name was Willie, and he overdosed. And I don't know, for a long time I felt like really a lot of guilt in myself for that, because I felt like I could have done more to help him in the situation. And I was in my not so innocent stage at the time, and I felt like I could have helped him out, and I could have done more on my own to steer him away from that type of stuff. And I didn't do it when I should have. His name was Willie. I'm gonna see if I have that song. I think this song is on here. Let me see videos. It's like all the way down there. It's way back in the day when I was doing. Man, where is it? It's right there. Fly High Willie. Let me see. Hopefully it plays. This was my friend Willie. It made me think of this right away.
Full of love, always when you would pull up. Friend in me you always was. Swilly brought smiles to every one of us. Now that you're gone, it's killing me deeply. Look at the ceiling, won't leave it until I see you completely. To know you're happy, a secret relationship that you cherish with everybody. A big part of our hearts, especially Giovanni. I brought him a sandwich this morning, hoping I'd see him smile. It's hard to see him lost, we'll all be like this for a while. I've been distant for months, and for that I apologize. Selfish feelings of leaving, keeping distance from other guys, but in no way was it from you. I could only cherish your presence. Thank you for being my friend. I hope to see you in heaven. Scrolling through your media,
So old, this song. This mix
wondering
terrible.
when you will be with us again. Holding my pen, missing you through these tens. Hoping to see you again, my family and my friend. Scrolling through your media, wondering when you will be with us again. Holding my pen, missing you through these tens. Hoping to see you again, my family and my friend. Drive all over Union with you, bump into my music. If anyone believes in me, I hope it's the way that you did. You always told me that I'd be something, my music's gonna roar. It hurts more and more, it's killing me in the core. All you did was give the others, and all we did was just take it. We should take your heart for its purity and embrace it and face it. Nobody kept the family energized like Willie. Now we gotta look at you empty, it really kills me. But maybe if I was more of influence, you would've sensed it and fled from the medications and negative temptations. You were God's creation, crying for a way out. I just wish that I listened, but it's too late now, and for that I'm sorry. Scrolling through your media, wondering when you will be with us again. Holding my pen, missing you through these tens. Hoping to see you again, my family and my friend. Scrolling through your media, wondering when you will be with us again. Holding my pen, missing you through these tens. Hoping to see you again, my family and my friend. I'll never forget our trips to the Buffet and Mickey D's, we were lit. Cousin time with the
We had
kids,
so much
all
fun
my
there.
acquaintances, you told them they better do me right, or you bet there would be a fight. Over the years we grew tight, you had a way with the ladies like no others in photographs. You give me the micro dance
I was
just
so
to see
young
me
here.
laugh. The last message you sent me was never leave daddy hanging. Daddy, know that I love you, and it's the reason I'm singing. Holding on to my dream, I wish this was all a dream. Killing me, this was a loss for the home team. My family tree, the kind of soul Willie kept us whole, and he had a goal. You could just see it when we were down, how he strolled with integrity and ambition to keep us all together forever. A clever-minded man that for us would never do us wrong, never whatsoever. Only way to get better is cherish his way of love, and our hearts forever. Willie, we love you.
Man, this shit makes me sad. This is what it made me think of, though, immediately when I heard him talking about Joe. Joe was my Willie. Like, I don't know. Like, I got close to him. I met him through my family. He was in my family for, like, a long time. And, I met him, and he was part of our family. He, you know, was more than a friend. He was a cousin. And, all that stuff was true. That you know, he kept me going. He was one of the reasons I chose to still do music, because, you know, I had so many songs I would play in the car with him, and we would drive up and down Union Avenue in Patterson just listening to my music. And he loved it. He loved it. And I mean, I listen to this song now, I'm like, man, it was mixed horribly. Like, I went to school for engineering, and this was like in the beginning when I was still learning how to use everything. I was learning how to write. My rhyme schemes were so simple and just, you know, but, you know, at the end of the day, that song for me, that was real for him. It came from my heart with what I knew at the time. Came from my heart with what I knew, with what God gave me. It was just really sad when I was listening to Ren talk about Joe. You know, it's like I feel like I've been there. You know, and all of a sudden, maybe not in the same context as Ren, because you got to remember, Ren was going through this stuff with Joe, and he was also sick and going through all this stuff mentally. But I mean, man, we've all experienced loss, and when I seen that, if the way he broke down, like talking about his mental, you know, shift and everything, and what was going on with him health wise, he didn't break down until he got to Joe, and Joe really hit him, and it made him cry, and You know, even I had to hold back tears just thinking about it now because it's been a couple years since Willie's been dead, a long time. And you know, it was when I started rapping. I mean, this video is how old? This video is, I'll tell you guys right now. Damn, I can't find it. Over 6 years ago. Man, I was really young. I'm telling y'all. I just started rapping, and it was like, not I just started because I was rapping since I was 13, but I just started getting really into it. You know, when I would rap when I was 13, it was just for like fun and shit. But now, like once I started rapping more, once I was like older, like 18 to 20, 21, it was a totally different image, totally different mindset, totally different. I was in college. I was, you know, getting woke. And then I started settling down a little bit. And I built my own defined definition of what I believed woke was because I don't think it's what it was panned out in college. Obviously, I educated myself more. But yeah, music really has always for me been the same thing as it was to Ren too. It's just something that lives in you. It's something that you love, that you cherish, that you don't want to stop doing, that you feel like you have so much to give. Like when I made that song Narcissist that I've been telling everybody to react to. Narcissist for me, that was like, you know, I wanted to speak to all the fathers that, you know, or, you know, men going through an abusive relationship that, you know, needed somebody to let them know that they've been there too. That was kind of like why I made Narcissist. You know, it's things I don't like to express or talk about my kids, talk about, you know, certain things. But at the end of the day, I feel like it could really help people, especially because I know how to do stuff like that. So why wouldn't I do it? Why wouldn't I do something that I know is going to help somebody? Um, Anyways, yeah, I just learned some shit about Ren and I didn't even know it. And it made me play this because I had to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anybody, but I had to. This is my natural reaction to it because I'm listening to chapters 1, and immediately it made me think of my song to Willie when I heard him talking about Joe and getting all broken up, talking about how he lost his friend and how important Joe was. And it's like, man, gets me. I'm gonna gather my emotions, and then I think I'm gonna try to do chapters 2. So we're gonna get out of this one, and then we're gonna do chapters 2.